sounds good. Motor. Anyway, we have the Daybreak here. The Daybreak newspaper is here. Says soldier, 7 others charged for robbery. That's the big story there. It comes with a picture of the IGP as well. Wengam opens Lodina app for attacks. Just reeling off from some concerns that people were raising on church issues and how the chopper crash happened. Chopper crash report ready in a month. That's according to the AIB commissioner. So we'll be awaiting a full report on that. And NPP withdraws from Tamale Central by election. So that announcement came last night from the opposition New Patriotic Party, indicating that they would not file any candidate to replace or to contest for the seat where the Honorable Mutala lost his life.
No, I've actually seen, people, when that happened, there were conversations about the NPP leading the way and all of that. And I saw, people posting, for instance, the NDC's decision not to contest Ejuso when John Kuma passed on, also not to contest the Abuakwa North seat. In 2006, the elections that brought Inusa Fuseni to Parliament, the NPP didn't contest. After Dr. Wayo Seni had decided to contest as an independent, to step down, in that time he stepped down and said he was going back to his mother party, the NPP. Now, Dr. Wayo Seni, as a former vice chairman of the NPP during the Dagbon crisis, crossed carpet to the NDC. And if you speak to Inusa Fuseni, he will tell you that at the time when he wanted to contest, they said, let Dr. Wayo Seni contest on the ticket of the NDC. So he contests and then he wins. Now, after that victory, the NPP, so he was representing the NDC. Then he decided he wanted to cross carpet and go to the NPP. But you can't do that in Parliament. So he said he was going to contest as an independent candidate. So the NPP didn't present a candidate, but they actually supported Dr. Wayo Seni. He lost, and that one actually brought the Honorable Inusa Fuseni to Parliament. I think it's a smart move by the NPP. Okay, it's smart. Say, I'm not going to contest. And the reasons they give makes it smart. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
so
but if you're looking at the figures as well, many say, it wouldn't have made any difference if the NPP had filed a candidate. So
it wouldn't, but you can still decide to contest. But to take a decision not to contest, and already you hear people saying, "Oh, the NDC shouldn't contest Akwitia too." That's a decision the NDC has to make. But let's go on.
Okay, let's go to the Daily Graphic. Prophecies. Christian leaders urge caution. There is a photo of Alban Bagbin, Speaker of Parliament. He shared his belief. Elvis Efria Ankara is here. And Apostle General Sam Kranche Ankara, spokesperson for Apostolic Fathers, is also on the front page. Shelter Afrique ordered to pay Blue Rose for breaches. Forensic testing, Ghana's DNA profiling capability limited. This is according to a lab scientist. Is there any other place where we have unlimited capability? Is there any other place we've invested right?
Tell me.
Is there any other place where if something should happen right now, we can independently solve our problem?
Tell me.
You remember Professor Boateng's speech at the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, Professor Frimpong Boateng's speech, how he enumerated the various things we need as a country to be actually independent in the scientific and the research space. And we don't invest in that space. So Ghana's DNA profiling capability limited. When can we make it unlimited? That's a question for the policy people and the people who draw our budgets and help us spend our taxes. Now, the sad news is that Asante Hima Nana Kunedu Yadom has gone back to the village, and that story is here at the age of 98. The 1 week observance will be on the 21st of August this year. And if you go to the back page of the Daily Graphic, a Tuabo gas plant to shut down for 2 weeks The move, we are told, won't affect power supply. The ministry says it will not affect power supply. And 2 foreigners jailed for human trafficking, 3 for fraudulent acquisition of passports.
So the Ghanaian Times is also talking about the Asante Hima story. Passes on at age of 98. Then they talk about let's focus on eternal values, not temporary gratification. So that's the caution coming through from the Assemblies of God Church. And government has now opened a number of ministries up for tributes. So government is inviting tributes for victims ahead of Friday's funeral of the remaining individuals who've lost their life to that tragic crash. So these are some of the stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Then there's also a lot of words, of course, condolences coming through also for the crash victims. So some major stories here on the front page of the Ghanaian Times.
The first deputy speaker of the BOG is on the front page of the BNFT, and it's to do with our gold. And it says BOG is using gold to hedge debt risks and restore confidence. If you check the BOG's social media handles, they've also written about what they are doing with gold over the years, right? They've written about how our gold programs have helped us restore investor confidence. They mentioned the gold purchase program, they mentioned the gold for oil program, and they mentioned the gold coin program. And the Dr. Zachary Mumuni, the first deputy governor, made these statements when he spoke somewhere in the UK, right? We'll give you details of that. Now, Dr. Tiahine says we should ring fence our legacy debt to protect the capital of banks. And then Goldfields plans long-term stay, boost local investment, and some other stories. Digital CD could be pegged to gold, Cocoa Reserve. This is Professor Alagi Dede speaking on our digital currency.
Okay, it means we can get to the online news review.
Yeah, and just before that, I was just going to quote portions of why the NPP says they are withdrawing from the Tamale Central by-election, which the Daybreak newspaper is talking about. A portion of that quotes that, quote, by-elections in Ghana are often characterized by tension and acrimony, which we, that is the NPP, believe that the country must avoid at all costs in this period of mourning. So that's the reasoning of the NPP going into that decision to withdraw from the Tamale Central by-election. So for their fears about, security degenerating in the constituency.
Okay, let's get to the online news review now.
Let's start with my Joe Online. Bryce Simmons is on the front page. He's questioning the military's readiness for forest rescue operations after last week's crash. The Asante Hine is sympathizing with President Mahama. This is related to last week's crash. Sao Tome and Principe President commiserated Ghana, and the life story of Asante Hima Nana Amakunedi Yadom III is published on my Joe Online. She was born in 1927 and she went to the village in 2025. Her 1 week observation is slated for 21st of August. Now, the NPP has withdrawn from the Tamale Central by-election. You mentioned it earlier. And Colonel Festus Abuaji narrates steps that stalled search team's late arrival. This is related to last week's crash. On fake news, the Speaker of Parliament says fake news can twist Parliament's words, so the Hansa staff must keep up with high-tech threats. And Nigeria arraigns 5 accused in 2022 Catholic Church massacre in Abuja court. That's also a story there. And Cristiano Ronaldo, we are told, has engaged his long-term partner Georgina Rodriguez. If you go to...
But there's one about Davido.
Yes. Davido also got married again to Chioma.
And then he did what?
And he gifted Chioma a $300,000 diamond watch.
$300,000.
Yes.
Blessed, do the calculation.
Chioma is wearing my capital.
$300,000 is what?
I
3 million Ghana cedis.
3 million Ghana cedis.
Yes, she's wearing my capital on her wrist.
I want to prophesy into your life, Blessed. That this month, may you make $300,000.
From Akotia
That's too
Diamonds.
small. I think I need more than that.
You have that already.
I need more than that.
But do you have that?
It's about my needs now.
See, come now as a song.
Yeah.
He says, "And show be asasos and sawasa." It's the same song that Amanziba has. Joe,
You know,
dance your own dance.
no. Yesterday I
Yes.
met Collins.
Let you enjoy her.
Yesterday I met Collins Owusu Amankwa. He said, the people who say "Asase ne makola," he doesn't understand them.
Omunisika.
Uniska is a money issue.
Yes, if you have money, you
You
can
make
buy
money
land in
available
Makola.
right now. You will get land at Makola.
Yes.
And then we jokingly said, if somebody were to come and say, President Mahama, I am prepared to give you $3 billion,
Yes,
surrender the Jubilee House.
that won't happen. The Jubilee House has no
$3 billion.
No,
I said, we're joking. And we said, he will add the streets
priceless.
leading 37. I said, fine. Because I am going to
Also,
Osu Castle.
No. You go and build a new capital in Pram.
Sharp. So money answers all.
It doesn't really.
It answers all.
It doesn't. Money,
Even though we say money cannot buy happiness.
answers some.
Well,
It answers
but
some.
it
not all.
reminds me of that meeting between Trump and the Canadian Prime Minister, where he says, he was floating the idea of buying Canada, and he says, well, there are some places that are never for sale. So probably Jubilee House would never be for sale. But in Ghana, you never know. Anything can happen.
Nothing can
Winston,
happen
is
to Jubilee House. Nothing
oh no,
can
Jubilee House.
happen
No.
to Jubilee
I mean, we're just joking.
Yes. Now, if you go to City News,
Winston, now you're doubting your own jokes now.
That's why it's a joke.
let's go to
You
City
see, you
News.
cannot sell. You cannot sell Jubilee House. Hey, what Ghanaians will do to you? You run away. Now that one there, you dare not. As for Makola, you can sell, not Jubilee House. Okay, let's go to citynewsroom.com.
Prophets should be discreet and sensitive. This is Bishop Osebonsu. Insurance penetration stalls at 1% despite density gains, and financial sector assets hit 525 billion Ghana cedis in 2024. Over 490 youth organizers endorsed Baumia ahead of the 2026 NPP presidential primary. And Newmoy Thompson is advising the government to fight Galamsey to honor helicopter crash victims. Omanibo Ama was behind key NDC health manifesto pledges. This is a black one speaking. And Soji Tete says, Omanibo Ama's death, NDC has lost a great strategy. So these are some of the stories on My Joy Online. We can go into the details of the newspapers now. And I'll start with the story. Let's start with the story of Asante Hima, and we get into the other stories. The graphic reports on the front page. The details is on page 13. That the Asante Hima Nana Kunudu Yadom III has passed away at age 98. The Asante Hine Otumfo Osei-Tutu II officially announced their passing yesterday during an Asanteman Council meeting at the Menchia Palace in Kumasi, the Ashanti regional capital. The 1-week observance will be held on Thursday, August 21 this year. And the purpose of the meeting, which was convened on August 7 at the instance of the Asante Hine, was not clear, although paramount chiefs, divisional and sub-chiefs in Asanteman had been invited. Announcing Nanaye Adom's death to the council, Otumfo Osei-Tutu II said she fell ill on the morning of Thursday, August 7 this year, but passed on sadly later in the afternoon. And if you followed the news in Kumasi, we got hints that something had happened in the Ashanti region in Asanteman, but nobody dared break the news that we had lost the Asante Hima. They allowed protocol to work. They allowed tradition to work. They respected her seat and the legacy. Every other person deserves that. Every other family deserves that. So if you hear any news, you have not been mandated by the state or by God to announce people's deaths. And you are also not mandated by any spirit or any force to be given information that is not yours to give.
Yeah,
We should stop that.
I definitely agree with you. We should stop that, because yesterday after the conversation, as one of my colleagues, journalist, was having a said, no, but I disagree with you on the bit about breaking people the news about death. And I asked him, how would you feel if you heard your father's death on the radio? He said, well, I get you. I said, yes, that's what you should always think about. Hearing your father's death or mother's death on radio when you are not aware. Let the family announce the passing of their beloved ones, and then we follow. Don't always be in a hurry to break the news of people's death. I mean, you're on air, then the next thing you hear, bad news. You get onto social media. That's the worst culprit. Bad news. When we start, bad news. Then you start mentioning names. Somebody comes, oh, fake news. Then eventually, oh, it's true. Just think about the family of that person, and you would understand that it is not your responsibility to, break the news of death.
You may actually end up causing the demise of other people.
Yes.
if you don't handle the information very well. I remember when my father-in-law died, they called me and they informed me, and I had to get my wife and her sisters together at home. We said a little prayer. I tried to get them to eat something because they had not eaten that morning. And after that I told them, I just got news that Papa has joined his ancestors, right? But they were in a confined space. They heard the news from their loved ones and it was communicated properly. Now we are breaking the news of people's deaths, people mourning. We are zooming our cameras in. Why would you want to capture your president in tears? Now you're dying. Or capture somebody's wife, and people are on social media, squadron leader Anala's wife died, and they are creating all sorts of stories. Meanwhile, the lady is alive. She's mourning her husband. Of what use is all this? And the fact that these days, even mainstream media, we don't wait to verify certain information before we took them out. I think largely on the demise of Omane Boama, Mutala, squadron leader, and the others, we did well. We got the news. We waited for proper confirmation before we put it out there. But events after that, we need to do better. Public decency is part of the courtesy for boys and girls we learned in school. And we don't need to keep these images also on social media, because these people have families, they have loved ones, they'll be traumatized for life. So let's do better, people. We need to do better. If you've posted any of these things online, just delete them, and let's sanitize our public space and issues related to some of these things.
Anyway, let's get to other stories.
Well, the big question we're chatting about as to whether or not there should be a decision by the NDC not to equally file someone in the Akwetia by-election. The concern of the party, as I was pointing out, was based on security and the fact that all our by-elections degenerate in terms of security. So that's the question a lot of people have also been asking and wondering if the NPP or the NDC, or the two parties would just come together and agree on what the way forward will be on these two by-elections that we're set to see in the coming months. The next one, or the immediate one, will be the Akwetia by-election. It appears the NDC has already started the processes of vetting and selecting eventually, which they have done, of their candidates. So that means that next month the party will field a candidate, which many are saying, well, you could also opt out, just as they've done for you in Tamale Central.
Yeah, they could. They can decide to opt out. They can decide to contest. But, what the NPP has done, and they've done very well, is to take advantage of the current mood of the country. You may chip in the fact that, but they didn't do so well in the last election. And they say, but the last election, there was a wind of change which swept everybody. Okay. Now, if you look at the Tamale elections of 2020, Tamale Central elections of 2020, it was not as bad as this. So you can look at that and say, but there was a mood of change, a wind of change which swept the whole country. What the NPP has done now is to put pressure on the NDC to actually back out, or also decide not to contest the Akwetia election. They may decide to go and contest, but if the NDC goes into that contest, what you would see the NPP doing on the ground is that it becomes part of their campaign also.
Yeah.
It's all about how to play on the emotions of people.
Winston, a lot of people also bringing up the constitutional concern that the Constitution provides for a time where you might lose a member of Parliament, and the alternatives are there, which leads into or culminates in a by-election. The same trend, the same trend we've also seen with parties giving automatically the seats to their spouses each time.
Well,
unfortunately, we lose.
We're going for the BBC.
These are some big issues coming up.
There was a constitutional provision when the NDC decided not to contest. When the NDC decided not to contest, Abuakwa North.